Hi, everyone. Welcome to Arrival at ATM, where we have a series of interviews and discussions focused on the world of tours, activities, attractions, events, and experiences, all of the things that travelers do when they get there. And honestly, it's why they go in the first place. I am so personally beyond thrilled to have as our first interview for our sessions today, the CEO of Emaar Entertainment, Zeina Dagher. Zeina, welcome.
Thank you, Douglas. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you. I have to say, I was very much looking forward to going to Dubai for the first time last year, and to doing this interview with you in person, and to having my first visit to the Burj Khalifa. It has not happened yet, so it remains a bucket list item for me, as I know for many people around the world, is one of these just extraordinary attractions. So I mean, just tell us, where are things now? A year later, how are things looking for Emaar, for Burj Khalifa, and the other attractions that you oversee?
Well, before we start, I just wanted to thank you for having me again. I'll always look forward to being part of these educational interviews and just trying to spread the positive message to as much people as possible. And one thing is, I will hold you for it. I personally wait for you to come back, or to come to Dubai and visit this beautiful icon of Burj Khalifa. Where we are now and where we were 1 year ago has been an amazing shift, a positive shift, if we can say. We have gone through, the year of 2020 has been a year of change, a year of reflection, a year of just going through things unexpectedly and getting out of it in a positive way. We have gone through tough times. We have gone through unexpected times, and I think what is the most difficult thing of 2020 is the unknown. I've said this before. I think I've mentioned it. Is the whole world has come through a standstill. The whole world has closed, and the industry of entertainment, hospitality, airlines, unfortunately, has been the most hit in this COVID situation. So how we have come out of it, I must say, has been a journey. We have gone through a difficult situation for 2020, but I think we have come out of it stronger and ready for 2021, ready for 2022, and beyond that.
Can I ask, how do you, to the unknown? I mean, this is something all business leaders have been contending with. How do you, as the CEO, and the leader of the organization, how do you motivate, kind of keep your staff, the team engaged and thinking forward? How do you plan amidst? How do you approach this when there are so many big unknowns?
I think if we take a step back, and I'd like to talk a little bit about Emaar as an organization, and just how we work at Emaar, and how, because we are in this organization, how it's allowed us to come out of this situation stronger. The unknown situation that we have gone through, I think the speed where we came together as a team and as a management, and to go into this crisis mode, and to see what kind of costs that we will cut, what kind of unnecessary costs that we will cut, whether it's an operational cost, FM cost, utilities cost, marketing cost, operational cost, you name it. We were looking at our books line by line and going through everything that we need, everything that we don't need, everything that's a must-have, everything that's a nice-to-have. And just shrinking our operations to work as efficient and cost effective as possible. So when we come out of this situation, we are in the best shape, and I think we are right now in the best shape that we can be post this crisis.
What have you seen across some of the different the different attractions. Although I think the Burj Khalifa is the iconic attraction. It's one that everyone knows. Of course, you also have the aquarium, Zeina. There's a lot under the Emaar portfolio. Can you talk a little bit about some of the differences as they serve different customers, and you've probably had to do different things for some of those different properties?
Under Emaar Entertainment, there's a large portfolio of attractions, whether it's the Burj Khalifa, the Dubai Aquarium, Ice Rink, VR Park, Kidzania, Dig It. It's a wide range of smaller attractions to much larger attractions, and we always split or differentiate our attractions to be, tourist-based or tourist target versus residence-based or residence targets. This is something that we immediately saw take effect. As an example, our number one attraction post-COVID was Burj Khalifa, where more than 50% of our footfall was tourists, and maybe 60-70% of our visitors were tourists, and the rest were residents. But attractions like the Ice Rink, our real cinema, was mostly resident-based rather than tourist-based. So immediately during, when COVID hit, or even at times like this where we still don't have tourists, we can easily differentiate and see, where our tourists are not coming anymore because there's no tourists in the country, or there's very little tourists in the country. So we had to completely shift the way that we work in terms of our marketing, in terms of our operations, in terms of our ticket pricing. Residents have become much more price conscious, always looking for promotions, offers, bundles. In the past, where tourists usually did not think about how much was our ticket price, but right now we are in times where people are much more price conscious about where they're spending their money. So we had to relook at our operations as a whole, at our ticketing strategy as a whole, and really look at how we can offer more value to the customers with the same ticket price, or offer ticket bundles. So for the same price, you'd be able to visit one or two or even three attractions. Our strategy was always to upsell more of our attractions and just offer more value than we used to in the past, because customers have really become price conscious.
So a much bigger focus then on the local and domestic market. What's your outlook across? What's in your crystal ball at Emaar? When are you expecting travelers to return? What are you planning for?
This is one of the biggest unknowns that we've always been talking about, but I think our diversity is now much bigger than what we used to plan in the past. In the past, we used to plan more, or our main focus was mostly tourists and what countries are coming from. Now, no, that has completely changed. Our bigger focus is now residents and how we can reach to the residents and attract them more. Whether we work on a bigger picture with Emaar and Emaar Malls and Emaar Hospitality, where we attract or we create staycations, where we bundle our attractions with hotel stays, whether we bundle, shopping vouchers with our attractions. That's our outlook. Again, we are in times of challenging situations where there are government restrictions that don't allow us to go back to our previous way of working. As an example, Kidzania has been an attraction that is mainly focused for children and school visits. Well, when right now school visits are not allowed. Yes, our footfall has dropped drastically, but this is where we work harder, we work more efficiently to target the residents, to target the parents, and try and bring back the kids outside of their school groups and attract their parents to come back into our attractions and show them that our attractions are safe. We are following all the measures to be able to come back into our attractions safely.
What are your thoughts on the future of safety and protocols as a messaging? It's a very interesting dynamic here in the United States. We see it's actually a fairly divisive issue. Some people are quite concerned about it. Others don't want to hear any more about it, and they're ready to get out. And as you look to the future and as travel begins to resume, hopefully, soon, later this year, certainly by next year, how are you thinking about approaching that?
Look, Douglas, I think one thing that we are very grateful about and blessed is to be in the UAE and to be in Dubai. I think the way the leadership of the UAE has approached COVID is nowhere to be seen in any part of the world. How it was tackled, how the rules and regulations have been put in place that allowed us and allowed every industry to open back and to be back in business is something that we will forever be grateful for to be in the UAE. The UAE has allowed us to open all industries, being malls, entertainment, hospitality. Everything is back in Dubai. Everything is back into business and open as normal in the UAE. Yes, with the restrictions. Yes, with limited capacity. But everybody, being tourists, being residents, being locals of the UAE, are respecting those measures because we all want to go back to business as usual. We want to go back into enjoying everything in the UAE. And what we're seeing from the people is everybody is hungry to come back. Everybody wants to come back, and they are seeing the safety and the measures that the UAE is putting in, and they are coming back to shopping. They're coming back to beaches. They're coming back to entertainment. Our cinemas are full. We had a release just yesterday of the Fast and the Furious 9, and all the seats were completely sold out. Yes, we are sold out at 50% capacity, but we are sold out. Dubai Opera is back. We have the comedy festival that's going on right now. 90% of the tickets are sold. People are hungry to come back, and they appreciate the restrictions that are in place that is allowing us to come back safely. Hoping that from now until the end of the year, things will ease. The rate that the people in the UAE are being vaccinated is I think we're number one now in the world of the rate of vaccination. So that's all positive, and inshallah, hopefully that will continue even more and allowing more and more countries to be open and to come to the UAE.
You said something very interesting when we spoke last year, how as you made the shift, pre-pandemic to adapt, where prior to COVID, while say at Burj Khalifa, you wanted everything to be spotless and immaculate and an amazing experience, but it was all invisible, like magical to the guests. And then post-COVID, suddenly the sanitation stations were visible, the cleaning staff were out in front and very clear, so guests could see what was happening. Is that continuing, and do you expect that to continue, or do you eventually expect to dial that back a bit?
It's funny how we've been used to a certain way of working for years and years. However, our adaptation to change is also very fast. You said it very rightly. In the past, we used to always hide our cleaning staff, our sanitate. We never used to have any sanitizing stations ever, but everything seemed or is spotless in the background. But now it's the complete opposite. The more we show our customers that our staff are constantly, cleaning, constantly, sanitizing, our ticket counters are always spotless. The more we show our customers that how much we're cleaning and how much we're sanitizing, the better and safer that they feel. Where in the past, that was the complete opposite. Everything had to be spotless, and we would never see anybody. Like, it was miraculously spotless on its own. But now it's the complete opposite. The more we show, the more people feel safe.
So uh, your tourist footfall still is, is quite small today, but do you have a sense, what are some of the changes? Who is that customer going to be? What are some of the changes that are going to endure? And what are some of the changes from a customer perspective that are really, a blip, are really temporary?
Many changes that we have seen that's happening, when it comes to our operations, the technology that we're using now, we didn't have, or we did not think of using in the past. Mostly everything now is, cashless, ticketless, touchless. Anything less that we can think of is something that we are imposing into our attraction. People don't want to interact with people anymore. They would rather interact with their online ticketing counter, or with a customerless ticket counter where they purchase their own tickets and go right in. So the technology that we're using is all or all digital, rather than interaction with the guest.
And you require online and advanced booking now for
Yes,
all of your attractions?
exactly. That was not there in the past for most of our attractions, but now that's, we encourage that. There's still people that rock up to the ticket counter, of course, that are in the mall, that didn't plan their ticket in advance, but we always encourage them to purchase their tickets before they arrive. It's easier, it takes less time, and there's less interaction with anybody physical.
Can I ask, do you see any differences, across attractions? My sense is, and what we've seen from customers is, let's say, something like Burj Khalifa. This is a bucket list. This is a must-see, attraction if I visit Dubai. Whereas, okay, let's say the aquarium, or Kidzania. Okay, maybe if I have kids and I have a few extra hours in the afternoon, and it might be something that's kind of secondary. Do you see kind of different behaviors or expectations around some of those different attractions?
Yes, we're definitely seeing that. I think the whole perspective of how people are traveling and doing the typical touristy things, that's not there as it was in the past. People are more towards outdoor activities, outdoor adventures. So we are trying to cope with that, and we're trying to always also give that to the customer. For example, the Dubai fountain that's right outside, the promenade of the Dubai Mall. We are creating attractions there, so people also experience entertainment outdoor. We have beautiful, an abra, a canoe, a water experience, all of that we recently created outside by the Dubai fountain, so people can also experience entertainment outdoor. This is what they're looking for. But we're also, you asked me about the tourists and the nationalities that are coming into Dubai. This is the constant change that we're also experiencing. We during COVID and until now, we're trying to perceive who are the nationalities or the markets that are coming into Dubai, but that's constantly changing. Up till 2 months ago, our expectation was, the Indian market would be back to Dubai, but the Indian market is completely gone right now with their COVID. Unfortunately, God be with them, but their numbers are skyrocketing and their airports are completely closed. So that's completely out of the picture for us. The Russian market is here. The European market is still not here. So the more and more we think the markets are coming, but it can change in a sudden, that we're unable to plan, not even 6 months in advance, not even 3 months in advance. We're totally dependent on the other markets, the other countries, and their COVID numbers and their COVID restrictions. So not allowing that to be a major restriction for us when it comes to our revenue and our footfall. This is why we're shifting our strategy, our marketing towards the resident market, and how we can attract the resident market, whether it's in pricing, adding value, creating staycation, to try and attract as much footfall into our attractions from the resident market as possible.
Are you seeing any shifts in the booking window? And I guess I would imagine it would be quite different between the tourists who, when they are able to come, there's probably a bit more advanced booking, but perhaps for the resident market, it might be quite different. What are you seeing there?
We're seeing from the resident market, it's always been, as an example of Burj Khalifa, why is the resident market, the lowest visitor into Burj Khalifa? It always used to have long lines. People used to wait, up to 1 hour to get in. And then every resident that would come in and they say, look, the Burj Khalifa is going nowhere. If I don't visit now, I can visit, later. So, but what we're seeing right now is still their booking time is very, very low. They're always booking last minute. They're always booking on the day. The planning ahead is not there. We don't see that. We don't see that anymore.
As we look out to the future and as travel does resume, is your expectation that online booking and advance kind of pre-purchase and I guess timed entry in some cases, is that one of these changes that will endure and you will pursue, or will you revert back to how things were pre-pandemic?
I think we will go more into time ticketing and dated and timed bookings into all of our attractions. That was there for most of attractions and not all. And now this is something that we're implementing across all our attractions. I think we will remain at COVID restrictions and capacity restrictions for some time now. So to be able to cope with those restrictions, we have to implement dated and timed tickets, not only for our operations, but also for the safety of our customers, and showing them that we are doing everything that we can to ensure there are no long lines, to ensure there is no crowd, and to always have safety measures as the #1 restriction in the past.
What about the future of distribution and how you reach customers around the world, as especially with the shift towards time ticketing and pre-purchasing? I would imagine, and in the local market, there's been a lot of direct booking. Locals will know the attractions and come directly. What's the future of travel trade distribution and online travel agencies? Are they going to be as important in the future as they have been in the past?
To me personally, this is also another unknown. Because I think that the travel window, or the plan of planning your trip in advance, planning your hotel stay, planning your attraction in advance, I don't see that happening now. I think if you ask people in Europe, if you ask people in India and Russia, when are you planning to travel again? I think their question is, we're not sure. So how far in advance are they going to plan? I think that's a big unknown. That's a big unknown for us. Whether travel agents, online travel agents will remain there or not, I think personally think customers are now able to create their own itinerary, their own hotel bookings, and depend less on the traditional travel agent because of the restrictions, because of the time, because of cost. But again, that also remains an unknown.
Zeina, thank you so much for joining us. I certainly, we're all hopeful for lots of tourists to start being able to return to the UAE, and I would certainly like to be one of them as well and get to the top of Burj Khalifa.
Definitely waiting for you.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Zeina Dagher, the CEO of Emaar Entertainment.
Thank you.